Well, a once dynamic, all-American sports brand with the greatest slogan in advertising history has just officially bent the knee to the Chinese Communist Party. Whew, apparently, the new slogan for Nike will be, "Just do it" for the CCP. That's right. When responding to a question about competition from Chinese companies during a fourth quarter earnings meeting, John Donahoe, Nike's new CEO, had this to say, quote, "Nike is a brand that is of China and for China," end quote. Now remember, Nike's a sports brand that grew to worldwide fame in Beaverton, Oregon, and it did so riding the coattails of Michael Jordan and other American legends like Tiger Woods. The Nike swoosh, it's about as American as apple pie, and America made the brand what it is today. But then Nike got woke, and they started finding that they had more in common with the values of Neil or Colin Kaepernick than they did with typical Americans, average everyday folks. That was a real shock to people when Nike decided to make a hero out of a guy who turned to activism because he couldn't get drafted by another team after he slandered the United States and made up facts about police statistics and officer-involved shootings. Now, looking back, it all makes sense because, see, Nike had gotten really good at bending the knee themselves. No wonder they were sympathetic to Colin Kaepernick because they've been getting on their corporate knees for a long time, you see. And why wouldn't they? Because it makes for really great corporate profits to bow to the CCP. The scam goes like this. Take American jobs, offshore them for cheap factory labor in China. Pay the people the equivalent of a few dollars an hour to make your overpriced sneakers, and then sell those same sneakers to the black community in America for $200 per set for a tidy profit. And then show the CCP that you're a good corporate citizen of communist China, not that dirty America. Celebrate athletes that spit on the country, America, the country that made your brand famous. That's how, if you're Nike, you stay in the good graces of the CCP. And to save face, you also have to trash the American system while you're busy exploiting it. There's another reason if you're Nike that you announce your fealty to the CCP, because China's, their growth market has a billion consumers, a lot of money over in China. And after all, if you're a greedy corporation that thinks nothing of using factory labor to maximize your profits and squeeze every last dollar out of the American black community to maximize your margins, well, you then declare your loyalty to the CCP because you know where your bread is buttered. And all of that matters to you, all that matters is your profits. Gorging yourself on Chinese factory labor wasn't enough. You want your slice of the Chinese consumer market too, just like the NBA. And by the way, John Donahoe made $53 million in 2020 as CEO of Nike. Isn't that cool? Express your love for communist China, and meanwhile, you can make a cool $53 million in capitalist America. But I guess CEO John Donahoe was just living up to Nike's famous slogan, "Just do it." Just sell your home country out to make some more American dollars off a communist party that is so tyrannical it's loathed by its own people. A communist party that holds over 1 million Muslims in genocidal slave camps. But if you're going to do that, like Nike, in order to make yourself feel better about this scam, you'll want to trash America. You know, do some equivocation between these two nations and pretend like one nation is no better than the other. Talk up American oppression and fake systemic racism. Just change the subject. You wouldn't want people to focus on Nike being mixed up with an international crime syndicate, also known as the CCP. But hey, Nike, we've got an even more accurate slogan for you. Just sell out. It's just 3 words. It'll look great on a t-shirt, and the NBA has already done it too. That'll look great in your boardroom. Should get your Wall Street investors salivating. Maybe CCP President Xi Jinping will wear that t-shirt. Maybe Nike could sponsor him. Actually, Nike is already sponsoring him. I wonder how big that particular Nike contract is. One last thing on this, if you're a consumer who loves this country, please consider buying some other brand, one that actually is of America and is for America, unlike Nike, whose CEO says is of China and for China.